Air superiority is the most important element in deciding the outcome of modern conventional war. It's the situation when a military force is able to conduct air operations without prohibitive interference by the opposing force. If a military doesn't control the air, tactical maneuvers on land and sea become extremely difficult. So it's natural that major militaries in the world have put a lot of effort into developing a strong air force. For success in air wars, not only is the fighter jet important, but the air-to-air missiles arming the fighter jet is also equally important. A good air-to-air missile is supposed to have a decent range, maneuverability, target locking capability, and platform support. A fighter having a missile with better range will be able to attack a rival without having to get in its strike envelope. The maneuverability of the missile is important since it will not be easily shrugged off, even if the targeted aircraft pulls off high-G aerial maneuvers, since the missile will be able to keep up. A missile with good target locking ability will not be easily fooled by countermeasures like jamming through electronic warfare. An air-to-air missile, which is supported by many fighter jets, adds flexibility to the Air Force. AIM 120D AMRAAM, or Advanced Medium Range Air-to-Air Missile, will be the go-to weapon for the United States Air Force. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why America's AIM 120D AMRAAM will be able to knock down any Iranian jets. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer all Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank or aircraft and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. Tensions between the US and Iran have risen sharply since Donald Trump withdrew from a 2015 nuclear agreement between Iran and several world powers. Trump administration also reinstated sanctions on Tehran. Last month, in response to undisclosed Iranian threats, US moved USS Abraham Lincoln Aircraft Carrier Strike Group to the region. President Donald Trump had said on Friday that the US is sending 1,500 more troops to bolster the American forces in the region. The US has also blamed Iran for last month's attacks on oil tankers in a United Arab Emirates port. It's now come to light that the attacks were initiated by a foreign hand who used divers on speedboats to plant mines in the vessels. Iran has currently not been named by United Nations ambassadors from the Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Norway who have been investigating the attacks. Earlier, the Saudi ambassador to the UN, Abdallah al-Mulami, said Saudi Arabia also thought Iran was responsible for the sabotage. In this state, a limited or full-scale conflict involving US and Iran cannot be ruled out, and in that case, an aerial combat will ensue. The AIM 120 AMRAAM is a medium-range air-to-air missile designed to meet the requirements of the United States and several allied nations. The AIM 120 missile is faster, smaller, and lighter than its predecessor, the AIM 7 Sparrow medium-range missile. It also has improved capabilities against low-altitude targets. AMRAAM incorporates active radar seeker with mid-course inertial navigation. This makes it less dependent on aircraft's fire control radar, and hence multiple AMRAAM can be fired by a single aircraft simultaneously against different targets. To improve the kill probability against a high-value target, an aircraft pilot may also decide to fire multiple AMRAAMs against the same target in parallel. It has a blast fragmentation warhead that gets triggered by a proximity fuse. AIM 120 AMRAAM missile is combat-proven and has been used in places like Iraq. Currently, it's operational with 18 air forces in the world. The AIM 120D is the latest development of the AMRAAM missile family, designed and built by Raytheon. It includes several new enhancements for improved performance. This includes a two-way data link, superior navigation through GPS-enabled inertial measurement unit, much larger no-escape zone, and improved high-angle off-bore sight capability, apart from an increase in range by 50%. The software algorithm has seen a lot of work and has a much better capability, especially in dealing with new forms of electronic attack. AIM-120D has more accurate guidance over its whole flight envelope, which improves the kill probability. It also has improved kinematics and GPS inertial measurement unit for better performance. AIM-120D's range is thought to be more than 167 kilometers or 105 miles. America's Air Force consists of fourth-generation fighter like F-15, F-16, F/A-18, and fifth-generation fighters, F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. All these jets are capable of launching the AIM-120D AMRAAM, so the US has a lot of options in its arsenal. On paper, the Iranian Air Force possesses more than 300 combat-capable aircraft, but all of them are either third-generation or fourth-generation ones. There are around 190 fighter aircraft such as US-made Northrop F-5s, F-4 Phantom II, Grumman F-14, and Russian-made Sukhoi Su-22, Sukhoi Su-24, and MiG-29. These will be equipped mainly with two types of air-to-air missile, Fokker 90 and Fodder. The Fokker 90 is based on the American AIM-54 Phoenix. It's solely deployed on Iran's F-14 Tomcats. The missile was developed by the Iranian Army, the Ministry of Defense and Armed Forces Logistics, and the Air Force, though exact details are not available. In April 2017, Fokker 90 long-range air-to-air missile was officially unveiled. On the 23rd of July 2018, the Iranian military announced it was now being mass-produced. Fokker 90 is thought to have a range of 150 kilometers or around 90 miles and is radar-guided. It's to be noted that AIM-54, on which Fokker 90 is based on, is actually a missile that was designed in the 1960s, so it's a fairly old tech by today's standards. Also, AIM-54 has a patchy history to say the least. On January 5, 1999, a pair of US F-14s fired two AIM-54 at Iraqi MiG-25s south of Baghdad. Both AIM-54's rocket motors failed, and neither missile hit its target. On September 9, 1999, another US F-14 launched an AIM-54 at an Iraqi MiG-23 that was heading south into the no-fly zone from Al Taqadum Air Base west of Baghdad. The missile missed and ultimately landed in ground. The AIM-54 was retired by America on September 30, 2004, whereas F-14 Tomcats were retired on September 22, 2006. So both of the platforms are basically outdated, and the US has moved to much more capable successors. Fodder is the other air-to-air missile deployed by Iran. This is an IR-guided, short-range one, having a range of 40 kilometers, and is based on the US-built AIM-9 Sidewinder missile. In 2008, the missile was test-launched for the first time, and in 2009, it was reported that the mass production of the missile was started. In air-to-air combat between US and Iran, it's most likely that the long-range missile will take precedence over short-range missiles. AIM-120 AMRAAM and Fokker 90 have a similar range, but these two missiles are radar-guided and hence will be dependent on the radar of the launching fighter. In this situation, America is far well placed as the radars and guidance suite of its fighters are better when compared to F-14 Tomcats. Reliability of Fokker 90 is suspect, as it's basically reverse-engineered from an old and, to an extent, unsuccessful missile. AIM-120 AMRAAM is far more advanced and will also be hard to jam with electronic countermeasures, unlike the Fokker 90. When launched from F-22 and F-35, the Iranians may not even be able to fire back with Fokker 90, as they don't have the radar capable of detecting stealthy jets. And jets other than F-14 Tomcats will be taken out from standoff distances, as they have nothing to match the AIM-120D. Keeping this in view, we can assume that American jets with AIM-120 AMRAAM will be able to knock down Iranian jets without much difficulty in one-on-one combat. Also, we need to note that the US has far better availability of jets and missiles when compared to Iran.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.